In this video, we're going to be looking at 4 B2B companies that are absolutely killing the Google Ads game. As an agency, we've worked with over 100 B2B brands on their Google Ad accounts, and we also manage millions of pounds of Google Ad spend each year. We've really seen the power firsthand of out-the-box thinking when it comes to creating Google Ad accounts for B2B industries. Once more, a report has just been dropped that Google Ad CPCs are up 13% on last year. So if you're a small company looking to acquire business through paid search, you're going to have to get a bit more creative when it comes to actually competing against these bigger companies online. And hopefully you can gain inspiration from the process and the examples that we're going to be running through today. So let's jump straight into it. First and foremost, when we look at Google Ad search, there's a few different broad categories we look at. First off, we have unaware, problem unaware, which I won't go into today because that's primarily for display and paid social. But first off, we'll go for problem aware, which would be terms like how to start a business. So people are aware that they have a problem, but they don't know quite yet what the solution might be or how they're going to solve it. You then have solution aware. So for example, some people may know they have a problem and then there are potential solutions. So for example, this could be the best business bank accounts. They know they need a bank account. They know what the solution is. They're now just trying to find a brand and a provider who would be best suited for them. And then finally, we have brand aware. So they know they have a problem. They know what the solution is, but they also know there is a brand out there that can solve it all for them. So it would be like Open Halifax commercial account, for example. I mean, we don't even use Halifax, just the first brand that came into my head. And when 90% plus, if not 95 or even more of the budgets are spent, that we see initially go towards things like solution and brand aware type keywords, ad copy and landing pages. And this makes sense because this is the linear effect of someone's got that intent, they know what solution they want or the brand they want, but more specifically, they know the solution they're going after, so they're going to type it in. And if you can appear in front of them at that point in time for a good CPC and with a good conversion rate, then it's going to be a profitable endeavor for you. But the issue here is that's where everything's getting a bit more expensive. And if you are a smaller company trying to compete in this landscape, it's going to get harder and harder for you to do so. So this is really where we want to start thinking outside the box. So in today, I'm going to look primarily, or actually I'm only going to look at problem aware, and then how you can use this type of search, which I'd say less than 10% of people or businesses are really focusing on, and how you can actually turn these people who have a problem, who don't know that they need a solution yet, and how you can potentially turn them into customers using real world examples of ones that we've actually come across. Now, this 10% may actually be much larger than this, but I'm saying 10% of people are actually using this well. And I'll go, for example, a lot of people may accidentally be bidding on problem aware searches or info searches, and they may not actually be using them properly. A lot of people will then try and serve these same landing page experiences for solution aware and high intent pages for this type of search query, but that just doesn't work. And today I'm going to kind of show you why and show you some good examples, show you some bad examples, and then sort of like bring it all together at the end. So a good example of what we're going to do here is, someone's looking for a problem aware search. If this was a solution aware search, we could take them straight through to over here to a landing page and just explain to them why, whether we're benchmarking against competitors, whether we're actually creating a value proposition on our page, looking at features, looking at pricing, how do we compete, what's our positioning, why should they get in contact. But in this sense, we need to make sure that we're doing a problem aware search. We then need to actually bridge the gap between what their problem is and actually what information they'd need to actually be like, okay, I didn't know this solution existed, but you guys offer that solution. You're actually solving my problem in a way that I wasn't aware of. I'm actually going to give you the money that you guys are asking for to be able to solve this problem for me. But again, you can't do that from just a buy now sales page or download asset, because that's ultimately going to be something that no one wants to be sold to at that point in time, because they don't know they need to be sold to. So they're spending money that they weren't expecting to spend, unlike a product or brand aware search. So the examples I want to go through today are, there's 4 different ones. One is using things like templates, like design templates, like Figma, forecast templates, like potentially different accountancy software can use, reporting software, which is the example I'll go into. We'll then look at the content itself, which bridges that gap. And I'm not talking just general content. I'm talking content that creates demand for your product, offers a unique angle, and actually shows them how they can take them from point A to point B using their solution. And actually real world examples, and some really good examples I go into. Next one is a no-brainer offer, which I'll get into, and the friction reducing activity, which is the last one, and it's probably the most exciting and the coolest Google Ads from a B2B perspective campaign that I've ever seen. So yeah, definitely stick around for that one. So if we go down here, let's first of all look at the template one. And I came across this many years ago, and their approach to supermetrics are doing. And for example, here, if I go and type in something like LinkedIn ads report template or LinkedIn ads template or something like TikTok for Looker Studio, which is previously Data Studio, now, these are problem searches. I have this problem. I'm looking for a format and sort of a way to sort of house this data. So Supermetrics come up with LinkedIn, dashboard for Looker Studio, TikTok Manager for SMBs. Free TikTok reporting template for Looker Studio. And what it does then, it takes you through to this landing page here. So if we open this up. And what we can do is we can go and say TikTok Ads Reporting Studio. I can say get started. And what this will then do is we'll have this detailed rundown where they've spent the time to go through and show top line costs, so how much are the CPCs, what the CPMs, what the conversion rates, what's the data behind the scenes, what's the augmented data further down, location, whatever it may be. They have it all housed in a great template. So as a free asset, great. They've got my email, they've got me sort of signed up for their software, and I'm like, okay, the best way forward is probably going to be using this template, which you can potentially just take this template for free and just plug in the data free you want from other means. The real clever bit comes in when I actually then look at their services, and the way in which they warehouse the data and the API connectors they have are much better than the other ones out there. And what I found through this API connector and the report they've given me is I can pull through data that I didn't even know I was able to pull through before, and it actually gives me a step up on my competition, and it makes my services and our services as an agency much more valuable. So LinkedIn ads, for example, you can pull data from literally company impression data up to 3,000 companies, for example, which when you're using native reporting in LinkedIn ads, you only get 10 or 20. So what actually they showed me was that, yes, we're giving away these templates for free, go and use them as you wish, great content marketing, but then they've actually plugged it in with their competitive advantage and value proposition, and actually then amplified it to us through this Google Ads means, which therefore means, you started paying for Supermetrics, you become a customer, because not only have they found a great route to get in front of you through paid search, they actually have a perfect product which augments the value they're giving you. And that's the difference between tactics and strategy. These guys know exactly what the decision-making selling points are, and they've managed to actually then integrate them within this buying process here. So really sort of clever from Supermetrics. The next one I want to go into is around looking at content. And this one is actually one I came across the other day. So I was looking to rank for this term, so I was doing some research, but I typed in LinkedIn strategies. And as you can see here, there's good and bad examples. This is the typical example of info-based or problem-aware searches that I would say don't really work as well anymore. And I'll get onto why in a minute. But this Shutterstock one here is really the one I kind of want to talk about. While this ad could be better, I want to talk about the landing page and next step experience. So the good example, or let's come to the bad example first. The bad example will be someone types in LinkedIn strategies, and this person here goes straight into what I'd call a soft sell. So they're selling them, it's download to look at the use cases. So download these to actually see how we've helped these clients, which again is very transparent. People know they're going to fill out this form, the agency is going to get in contact with them, and they're going to spam them, and they're going to try and actually get them to buy something that they're selling pretty quickly off the bat. And that's not something that we really want to do. It's transparent. Maybe in 2010, 2015, this worked really well. Now you have to be quite creative with how you do this sort of stuff if you are doing it. So no one's going to fill out this form. And if they do, then chances are, they're just general people looking for strategies. If they're looking for the caliber of Nestle and hotel beds, for example, probably not going to come through this. But then if we look at the good example, LinkedIn strategies, Shutterstock do a great job of showing that, we're not trying to sell you anything here. This is that demand gen content that goes, getting started with LinkedIn strategies. How can you stand out? It says content is king, uses great images here from Shutterstock. It's build your company page, goes through professional logo, cover image, and it actually shows Shutterstock photos and images being used as logos and cover images. So it's actually showing you use cases and case studies where you can go and actually use their product that they're selling for money within this free bit of content. So if someone wanted to go through, they could say, okay, where can I find images like this? Shutterstock. So there's no direct call to actions. And here are some examples of these cover panels that, you can actually get through their platform. And next one is posting. So you actually want to do creative infographics. Again, these can be done from Shutterstock, and you can then use the AI InDesign files, for example, to go through and modify these graphics. Or you can use Google LinkedIn ads, and then you can use these images to enhance your LinkedIn ad click-through rates. And while, they're not the greatest images in the world, for example, but it could be perfect for someone looking to get started in the world and looking to slightly up their game. Again, it depends what persona they're going after, but from like an entry-level marketing position, this could potentially get quite a lot of traction for someone looking just for basic images to get up and running. I'm not saying this is what you should do for your LinkedIn ad strategies, because I think it's much better routes you can take. I'm just saying, from a marketing and search engine or paid search perspective, I respect the angle these guys have taken, and even using native video, just showcasing what they're good at, or actually one of their offerings, which is video, which I didn't actually know that Shutterstock offered. They're actually saying you can create these ads, and it's really cool way of tying it in. Now, the person was coming in to look at LinkedIn strategies, and now they're leaving with potentially a subscription to Shutterstock because they actually help them solve that problem-aware search they're going after. So is that something you guys could use within your marketing? So don't try and just gate it and ping them with emails. Try and actually, use it contextually with what it is you offer. The next one is a no-brainer offer. And again, someone typing in like improved Google Ads performance, for example. We have here a few different ones with very different angles. Obviously, one's Google, one's sort of like, I think, an IP rejection tool, whatever it is, where you say, fake traffic comes through. Optio here is a tool, and I think we sort of found these guys a while back through this. And then we're not typing in like Google Ads optimization tool, like using AI or whatever. It's someone typing, improve your Google Ads performance. You click on this and you actually go through to this page and you get a free trial, which actually goes through and actually allows you to connect all of your accounts. And it's like, which of the campaigns should you be pausing, which queries should you be pausing, which locations should you be moving out, where should the bid adjustments come from. And now it's sort of powered by AI and allows to take loads of data and that machine learning to say that these are probably the adjustments you should be making, which otherwise you couldn't make. And you can use that 30-day free trial to obviously sign up for this. I think where this campaign is missing would be like a widget, which would be a slightly smaller version of this to use it as like a lead magnet. So you come up here and say, enter your, email address, and then you can connect your account. It'll give you the top 10 things it would recommend for your account. It'll then probably get you hooked on that information because you'd want to learn more about why you should increase your bid adjustment by 12% for a certain query and what the knock-on effect would be. So they added that in, and I think that would make it the friction even lower. It would be a no-brainer offer for a lot of people, agencies looking for their clients, or people looking for themselves if they're going for channel or direct to brand. I think there's a lot they can do with this side of things, but really creative. They're taking a problem-related search, someone's looking to increase their Google Ads performance, and then tied it into a software. If they were typing in things like Google Ads software, they'd be competing with WordStream and other highly expensive CPCs, which you wouldn't want to go into. Now, this last one, as I mentioned, is the one that has always been my favorite, and I've actually created a video on it before, and this is the one from Tide, which is the business bank account. And they've reduced friction earlier on in the supply chain than when someone's looking for their product. So if you go into Google and type in start a business, if you're based in the UK, I'm not sure about anywhere else, you'll get hit this ad, which is set up a business in minutes. So what Tide have done is they've actually allowed people to go here and type in a limited company name. They'll check if it's available. And then once you've said, okay, I want this name, you click go, and ultimately it will register that name for you. And it will spend something cheap like £12 to actually go and register this name with the company house. So rather than you spending the money, they'll spend it for you, which is a really nice sort of like offering, because it saves you literally money right then and there. But as you can see here, as you open up, you get a free business bank account. And this is the real big trick, because Tide are obviously business bank account, or they're obviously a business bank account. And bidding on the term business bank account is like £30-40 a click. Bidding on, create a company online or create a limited company is like £1 or £2. So we're actually signing up with a company. You go through this whole process and it signs you up with a business bank account, so that you're actually signing these people up for much cheaper than you would be if people were competing for business bank accounts. And because Tide aren't as well known as like your NatWest, your Halifaxes, your Nationwides, whatever, then they're probably not actually going to win the credibility war against a lot of these other big brands who are high street banks. So if they're actually bidding on these terms, they're probably not going to actually win in the end. But if they can actually get in there before them, be more creative, actually create their own supply chain or move the supply chain down and actually get these people before they even think about getting a business bank account. In the checklist, it's like registered domain name, limited company, then open business bank account. But now, because we're ticking off two at one, it actually, from a admin standpoint, makes life easier, but also means that you haven't got to put much brain thought into creating a bank account. So there's something that happens before someone would directly use your product or your service or anything else. Think about what it is. Can you work out a way to offset some of your costs from a CPC perspective to actually offer it as a value add up front? And I think this is really where strategy comes into play here, because you need to find out what your unique advantages or value proposition is as a company, and then work out how you can amplify that creatively through problem-led searches within Google Ads, for example. So definitely go away, note some ideas down of these 4 different elements and work out if they can be applied to you. But if you want to learn more about this Tide case study, which I think is awesome and a really good example of thinking outside the box and growth hacking from a B2B perspective, I'll link to that up here. Any questions, whack them in the comments. But yeah, hope you have a great week, guys. Speak to you very soon.